Hello, my friends out there. What's up? Let's do another Halloween Ends video here. Let's just talk about the movie a little bit here. And there's something, I watched it again. My eighth time viewing this movie. Can't stop once I get intrigued by something. But the Corey character, you know, he steals Michael's mask, right? And I said in my review, well, thoughts on the movie, that I would like to see Michael do some more killing in Haddonfield, right? I thought when I was watching it again just about an hour ago, when Corey goes up to steal Michael's mask, how cool would it have been if Michael just destroyed that kid right there? And he didn't take that mask, and Michael goes through town, kills Corey's mom, kills Corey's dad or uncle, and then the little shit's picking on Corey, the receptionist lady at the radio station, and the DJ. And then with all those kills, Michael is fully restored for that final battle with Laurie Strode. That would have been really, really cool, but all in all, I respect the story they were trying to tell here and how they wanted to focus it on Corey being Michael's accomplice because it's unique, it's different. And I can't really argue with that, you know? This movie is so much different, and that's why I love it so much. And I plan, hopefully, they'll make the coveralls for Halloween Ends, and I can get a pair of those. I'll have to get a kid size because my waist is a 30-inch waist. So I can't wear the adults. I'd be lost in them. Just like Michael in the sewer pipe. Can someone let me out of here, please? Let's talk about Corey some more here. Oh, there was something I forgot to talk about in my thoughts on the film. Corey's slip into madness. Now, that kind of thing is definitely real. I mean, that could happen to anybody out here. Some sort of freak accident like what happens with Corey and the little kid. That happens to someone. They're accused of killing this kid or person, and they didn't do it. They have to go through the torture of a trial and all that to be found guilty or not guilty. It was apparently ruled an accident. And then once you're out of that part, you come back to town, where you live, and the whole town knows about it. And that's all that you hear. You're the one that committed that crime, and that's all they know you for. And, eventually it's going to get to you, and some people out here can go off the deep end and do exactly what Corey did in this movie. Although he did have the help of Michael's evil being transferred to him. And I still can't get over how they did that, dude. I was like, that is so cool. You never would have thought that something like that was possible if you're a new fan or a new viewer coming into this trilogy without seeing the other films. Now, for me, it was really cool, even though we'd seen it before with Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4. But this took that perspective and fleshed it out into, not someone being infected with the evil for a few minutes. It was complete control of this person. And they fleshed that out and showed what someone infected with Michael's evil could do. And it was really cool. And I still, after 8 times viewing it, still don't have all that many negatives with the movie. But Michael should have been in it more. He really should have. You know, it would have been cool to see him do all the kills that Corey did, because I know those little band kids that were picking on Corey would have really got it good had Michael Myers did it, you know? But like I said, that's the story they're going for here, so, have to accept what they've done. And it is not the end of Halloween. Most definitely not. Because I found out that after this trilogy is done, which it is done now, the rights to the franchise are going to revert. They have reverted back to Malik Akkad, or Malik Akkad is how you say it. Mustafa Akkad's son. So now he owns the rights to Halloween. He only let them have this. He only let Blumhouse have this to make these 3 movies. Once those 3 movies were done, it goes back to him. And then he can take and do whatever he wants with this Halloween franchise and name. And what else can we talk about? Oh, there's one scene in the film that I watched again tonight. And it really kind of hit me a little bit. The scene in the bar with Laurie. When she meets the little boy's dad. And he said, how his wife, the little boy's mom, never wanted to forgive Corey for what happened. And he said, I see him walking down the street. And I'm going to pull up beside him and say something and prove my wife wrong, find a reason to forgive this kid. He's like, so I pull up next to him, and he looks at me. But it's not him. At least not in the eyes. It's like they know. Even he knew. Just like Laurie knew. That evil was in control. And he's like, is it, something that has happened to him because of the accident, Michael? Or has it always been there? It's just like, wow, dude. The town could forgive him. Or not the town, but the little boy's dad could forgive Corey. Until he saw his eyes. And then Loomis said in the original Halloween, I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes. The devil's eyes. So it's kind of like this guy in town, the dad, is seeing the same thing that Dr. Loomis saw. And Laurie sees the same thing she saw the first time she ever looked into his eyes. There's so many little references in this movie. The hand, when Corey is technically Michael, and he's going to kill his mom, he opens the drawer, reaches for the classic butcher knife, just like in the original film when Michael is going to kill Judith. The kids in the junkyard, when they're running from the tow truck. The tow truck is a reference to Halloween 4. Michael drove a Phelps Garage tow truck to get back to Haddonfield from Richmond. And then when they're running and the girl is outside the gate and the truck slams the gate, pins her up under it, that is a Christine callback. This movie is kind of like a love letter to John Carpenter. In the beginning of the movie, Corey is showing the little boy The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing on TV. And it's like, damn, man, this is cool. It's unique, it's different. There's Easter eggs abundant for Halloween fans. But people just can't get over Michael being so weak, the fight not being long enough, you know, and the fact that, he hides out in the sewer for almost the entire movie. Now let's talk about that for a minute. I kind of got another theory from watching it again. You notice in the beginning of the film, on Laurie's wall, I think it's her wall, it says, "The home of Michael Myers has been demolished." Now, what was Michael's motivation for the last two films? He wanted to go home. And apparently, from kills, stare out his sister's bedroom window. It's all he wanted. But now, 4 years later, that house has been destroyed. So not only is Michael beaten and banged up and weak from the fight, his home is gone. So it's like Michael has no purpose anymore. And the director's like, he said, Michael's basically gone off to die. And I was like thinking when I first heard about it, before seeing the film, what? Michael would never go off to die? The hell is that all about? But now I get it. Because what do people do when they feel that they have no purpose anymore? They want to die. And Michael's purpose was to go home. Always. Even in Halloween 1978. The night he came home. That's what it's about. Michael wanted to come home. Although in the first one he came home to recreate sort of his killing spree, but flesh it out a little bit. And then people say too, in the hate comments here, Michael wasn't in the film enough. He wasn't in the first one either. All you got was a glimpse of his shoulder when Laurie's walking down the street singing the song. And in most shots in the film, Michael is in shadow. You might get a POV shot, maybe a shot of the mask, but you never really see him until the final chase scene at the end. And the kills, there's only 3 in Halloween 1. There's Annie, Bob, and Linda. Oh, and we can't forget the dog, the German Shepherd. So technically there's 4. But I mean, why is this movie such a big issue to people? That Michael's not in it enough. He wasn't in the first one all that much. Not full, being able to see him fully. Until the last reel of the movie, the chase scene. And then people are saying, I like the fight in Halloween 2018 better than the Halloween Ends fight. That's because the reason it is better than the Halloween Ends fight is because that version of Michael is completely different than what he is now. Now, yes, when Corey goes in to steal Michael's mask, if that was 2018 Michael, Corey would have been dead right then and there. And there's no way he'd run up to Michael and almost take him down. And I thought it was hilarious. I forgot to mention this too. When Laurie calls the cops for the suicide, and then you hear the gunshot and the pumpkin hits the wall. I sat there and I was like, no way. They can't do her this way. This is Laurie Strode we're talking about here. I know she wouldn't do it like this. And then you see the hand open the door and the pumpkin's on the floor. And she's pointing the gun. Do you really think I'd kill myself? And she shoots him twice. And you can hear Corey go, when he falls down the rail. I kind of got a laugh out of that one. I was like, dude, Michael would never make that sound. And that's another difference too. He got shot twice, went down immediately. Michael would have took those 2 shots in 2018 version. If it was that Michael she shot, he would have took those and the fight would have started right then. But man, I don't know. I get that this got mixed reviews and a lot of scores on the internet for how many people like it and dislike it are going way down from the likes. It started at like 86% of the people that view this film on Google like this movie. And now it's down to like, I think it's like 40, something like that. But I was like, dang, dude, why did it drop that fast? And then all of a sudden, it's the number one movie in America in theaters. I'm starting to think, just like me and my buddy Matt were talking earlier, that's just something they put in a headline to make you want to go see the movie. Well, it must be great if it's number one. But here's the thing about Halloween, man. They've never got good reviews. I mean, I remember when H2O hit theaters, 1998. I went to watch that movie 2 days after it came out. I was super stoked, couldn't wait. And then Laurie cuts his head off at the end, and I sat in the theater with the Halloween theme playing, and I was like, well, that's it. In that movie, horrible reviews from people. And this was pre-internet. People couldn't wake up the next day and go get on the internet and shit all over a movie. You heard it by word of mouth of how shitty or how good it was. And almost every Halloween fan I knew at that time that I talked to about H2O were like, dude, terrible. Terrible how they did him, how they did Michael. She just cuts his head off. There wasn't even much of a fight. There was a really cool chase scene. I can give it that. And I will watch H2O whenever I feel, the need to watch it. I'll pop it in and enjoy it very thoroughly. Just like I did as a kid. In this movie, I know that after, 2 years of it being out, I can pop it in and still enjoy it just as much as I do now. Oh, the another callback they put in was Michael killing the nurse. Grabs her by the throat, walks her across the floor, into the wall, stabs her, and she's hanging there. That is a callback to Halloween 1 where he kills Bob. And he even did the head tilt when he's looking at her body. And it's just really cool how, they made Corey do a lot of the mannerisms of Michael. When he falls off of the radio station rooftop and he hits the ground, he's like, oh man, you can tell that really hurt. And then he just sits straight up, just like Michael would do. And I was like, I wonder if they gave him some sort of direction. Or maybe James Jude Courtney gave him some direction on, okay, here's what I do as Michael. This is what you should do. But then I found out today that the shape costume for when Corey is wearing it is a different actor than James Jude Courtney. The only time James Jude Courtney is in the costume is the final fight with Laurie and all the sewer scenes. And I sat there looking at that picture and I was like, they completely shit on one of the best Michael Myers actors they've ever had. Besides Nick Castle and George Wilbur. And Dick Warlock, we can't forget him. But then it makes sense to me. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Let's not immediately be like, oh shit, and sound like one of those hate guys. It has to be this way because you would never believe that that's Corey doing the kills if they had put James Jude Courtney behind that costume because he is much bigger than Corey. So they had to get another actor that was slimmer to make it appear that, okay, this is not the real Michael. This is a copycat of sorts. And I didn't know what to think when when people brought the theories out of there's going to be a copycat Michael Myers. I was like, what? Really? They're going to go Friday the 13th part 5 here? Is that what they're doing? And that really made me nervous about the film. I was like, uh-oh. Well, we see how people accepted him Friday the 13th Part 5, a lot of people think that's one of the worst in the series. The worst in the series. But then, no, I kind of thought when they said that, okay, so what, this kid's gonna run around and try to be Michael Myers, then the real one's gonna show up and be like, look here, kid, this is how it's done. You're dead. Thank you, I'll take over. That's kind of what I thought was gonna happen. And like I said in my review, the first time I viewed it, I was sitting here before Michael comes on screen in the sewer, like, dude, I'm kind of getting bored. Where's Michael at? We need Michael Myers to be in this movie. Is he not even in it? And then it progressed, and I was like, well, maybe they'll get him in here somehow. And as it progressed, and he grabs Corey, and I see what happens to Corey, I was like, dude, this is cool. It immediately hooked me. I was thoroughly entertained by the film. It surprised me in the direction they went, and that's all I look for in a horror movie. I don't care about is the gore on point, unless it's Friday the 13th, because Halloween's never been a super gory franchise. I don't care about is the gore on point, is the story good or bad, because slasher flicks, the story has never been really great with most of them. There's all kinds of holes and shit and stuff that don't make sense, so I'm used to that. And then the things I look for when I watch movies like this, that people are shitting all over. Was I entertained? And what was the other one I had? Hold on. I gotta rethink it here. Does it surprise me? Delivered on both of those fronts. And then there was one other one. Oh, does it break the traditional horror movie rules? Those are the three things I look for. And this movie did all of that. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, I'll give you an entire series that I can't stand to watch. Saw. They're all the same. Like, I watched the first one and then the second one, and I was like, this is cool, that's pretty cool. And then the third one comes, and I'm like, yeah, it's more of the same. Just a different atmosphere, sort of, and a different style of doing things. And then part 4 was the whole backstory on the Jigsaw Killer, And I was like, well, that's unnecessary, because I don't like to have a lot of backstory on psychopaths. Like Michael and Jason. Because that's part of their mystique, And then as Saw progressed, it was just more the same. And I was immediately bored. I mean, yeah, the kills were unique, I guess. And the gore was on point. It was, for that kind of movie. Now, I say I hate Saw, but I did like the Hostel stuff. The Hostel stuff is crazy because you could go to a country like that and some crazy shit like that happen. But then back to Halloween. We don't want to get sidetracked here. Just watch this movie, man, and don't take it as the definitive end of Halloween, because it's not. This is just a fun experiment that Blumhouse decided to throw at us. And I love when movies do that, Because if they had made it to where Michael returns from the sewer, we already know what's going to happen. He's going to kill some people, find Laurie, and either she's going to die or they're going to die together. And if she survives without saying, this is my final time as Laurie Strode in interviews, you never would have believed it if she had survived like she did. Without Jamie Lee Curtis saying, this is my final time playing Laurie Strode. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't get the hate. I know a lot of Halloween fans are purists, and I completely get that. You know, that's the people that want Halloween 1 over and over and over again, Halloween 4 over and over again. But they took elements for this movie from Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, and Halloween 5, and they kind of smashed it all together. And now, let's do one more thing, and then I'll end the video. I have a theory on how he could return. So think about the thorn, the curse of Thorn. A cult inflicted this curse on him, according to part 6, and infected his entire bloodline with it, right? What if he's had that curse this whole time? They just didn't say it. He can come back, and he will be a supernatural, unstoppable force of nature. And I think that would be cool. If Blumhouse had not ended the trilogy with this, they could have continued it that way. Now, who knows? Malekith could do that. He could bring Michael back through the Curse of Thorn and make him a supernatural, unstoppable force of nature. And I think that would be really sick to see. And hopefully, someday they can bring Danielle Harris back and kind of make her the new Laurie Strode like they did in Halloween 4. But it's her journey. This many years later, you know? That would be really sweet. And I would love to see Danielle come back for one last, kind of one last hurrah for Halloween, just like Jamie Lee Curtis did. That would be sick. So that's all I got to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments, man. And we'll keep it friendly here, I won't be shitting on you just because you don't like the movie. Everyone's got their own opinion. But you know how people are when you state your opinion on the internet? A few people are going to lose their shit on you. But I'm not one of those people. Take care, guys, and thanks for watching.